All right, so we have the results for the 2024 Oscars. We get to see who has won. We get to see who was snubbed, if anybody was snubbed.
Oh, there's
But yeah,
somebody snubbed.
oh yeah. Well, we'll get into it. Let's get
Yeah.
into it. So we'll start, I suppose, from the biggest category, and then we'll go down to all the other ones. So, Best Picture, the uh winner for Best Picture ended up being Oppenheimer. I don't know if
hmm
that's a surprise for you. I feel like for me personally, I'm not too surprised. I think that Oppenheimer was probably my pick to win out of that category. If it wasn't Oppenheimer, I think, maybe Killers of the Flower Moon um would have taken it. But yeah, Oppenheimer makes sense to me personally. What do you think?
I think it should have been Barbie movie. Like that clearly makes sense, right? Barbie was a masterpiece. It almost made $1 million. If it wasn't for Barbie, Oppenheimer would have been seen. All right, jokes aside, of course, Oppenheimer is like the number one thing. I think
Yeah.
this is a testament to Christopher Nolan and how much as a director he's improved and how much everything was there. It was a solid masterpiece. I honestly, the only disappointment I would say for me was that I didn't watch it more than once in theaters. I feel like that to me was, I feel bad that I wasn't able to watch it more than once during the time it came out in theaters, but I'm hoping the fact that it won Best Picture that they're already gonna replay it in theaters again. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again. But again, I mean, it's Oppenheimer. What can you expect? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely took it. So yeah, other than that, I know that I don't know if you watched Past Lives, but that was another like top movie for me of the year.
hmm
So I appreciate that like it was nominated at least. A lot of these other films, like I don't think that they had a necessarily a good chance against Oppenheimer, but I appreciate that they got nominated. Poor Things was a really good movie. I'm glad that that got nominated. The Holdovers was also really good. So yeah, those were solid movies that I'm glad were able to get recognized in the category. But all right, let's go on to Best Director
hmm
or Best Directing rather. So we had another win in this category by Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer actually swept the Oscars this year. I think it got
Basically, yeah.
yeah, I think it got the most with
Yeah, I
like a
did.
total of seven uh
7.
Oscar wins, which is, congratulations to Oppenheimer, and then congratulations to Christopher Nolan for winning Best Director in this category.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that what do you think about that win?
I mean, he deserves it. I'm actually surprised this is the first time he ever won Best Director. I
Yeah.
mean, he's always been Best Director in my eyes since we can argue since what's it called? Inception. So ever since then. And I know technically Dark Knight and came out before that, but he became Best Director in my eyes since then. So I'm surprised that he this was his
It took
first
him
time,
this
but
long.
yeah, it took him this long, but I'm glad it is what it is. The recognition's there, and this is probably one of his best. I think this is his best work so far, if I have to be honest with you, because it takes so many elements that he's made and he combines it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it feels like it that's what I feel, because there's some movies where there's some elements that he takes where maybe it was a little bit like, okay, it sacrificed this for that, or sacrifice maybe this acting was subpar but the storytelling was better.
Yeah.
But here it was really, for it to be a pretty much a like a historical figure film where the events
Yeah.
and stuff are like known to be in this grounded world, but he did it in a way that was very compelling and interesting. I'm just surprised by it. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely great uh on the directing front with this film. I think another movie that did a good job as far as the directing, definitely Scorsese with Killers of the Flower Moon. I think the
Mhm.
direction in that was great, but it's Martin Scorsese, so it's to be expected. And then I think another one, Poor Things for with Yorgos Lanthimos.
Oh man.
I think that was also really good. I'm disappointed that Past Lives, I feel like Past Lives should have gotten nominated in this category just because I feel like the
Mhm.
direction is what makes that movie so great.
Mhm.
Um, the direction and the performances really solidify the that movie being really good. But yeah,
Mhm.
there's only five categories for best director, so it is what it is. And yeah, Christopher Nolan he took it, and he definitely deserved it, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So yes, let's go on to best actor, best lead actor. Again, we got Oppenheimer taking this one home, with
Mhm.
Cillian Murphy also getting his first Oscar.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, this was another one where it was, I think a lot of people were expecting it to be between Cillian Murphy with Oppenheimer and Paul Giamatti with The Holdovers,
Mhm.
which I watched The Holdovers. I really liked The Holdovers, and Paul Giamatti did a great job in that role. But if I were to pick, I definitely would have gone Cillian Murphy over Paul Giamatti with that. So I
Yeah.
think that this was definitely well deserved on Cillian Murphy's part. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Although I found it weird that Napoleon, my God, now I'm forgetting his name. Walking Phoenix wasn't nominated for his performance because I felt like his performance was really, really, really amazing for Napoleon. But I guess it is what it is, Derek. Yeah.
Mm.
Uh Killian Murphy again, just this is like it's funny because Killian Murphy's been in so many Christopher Nolan films, so it's like it's
Yeah.
finally good that he's getting his recognition after how many films.
After all
So
these
yeah,
years.
he really did a good job with because the script, as much as this was a really interesting script, I didn't feel like it gave much for that character to really show how he was feeling. But Killian Murphy did a good job with whatever script he had to show the emotion and the depression that he was going through with discovering this thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it was really good performance overall. And there was just
Yeah.
so many good performances within that movie. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Yeah, and so going on to best lead actress, this one was an interesting one. I think for the longest time, I had Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon as like my
mhm,
pick for best actress, for last year. But then I saw Poor Things, Emma Stone, and like honestly, the way that I think the demands of the character that Emma Stone played, it was more than what Lily Gladstone had to play. Although, like Lily Gladstone's character, the whole story is like tragic and riveting and all of that. But I think
mhm,
that Emma Stone's performance is just so unique and
mhm.
interesting, and that she was able to pull it off in the way that she did. I totally understand her taking the Best Actress Oscar for that. So yeah, congratulations to Emma Stone. I think if it wasn't Emma Stone, it would have been Lily Gladstone. But yeah, congratulations
I
to
like how they both have stones in their name.
her. That's true.
That's
That's true.
interesting. Yeah, I always want to see Poor Things, so I guess this is more the reason now, especially because of Emma Stone's performance. But yeah, good job to Emma Stone.
Yeah, if
Do you
you
know
like
if this is her
Barbie,
first?
no, this is her second Oscar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Emma Stone is racking them up.
Mm.
But yeah, if you like the Barbie movie, then this is definitely this is like adult Barbie. Poor Things is like adult Barbie, basically,
Adult Barbie.
in an
Okay.
interesting way. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so best actor in a supporting role. For this one, I okay, so again, we've got another Oppenheimer win with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh
Um,
yes.
I've like when I saw Oppenheimer, I think the immediate reaction that I had personally was that Robert Downey Jr. was getting his Oscar for this film. If not his nominated, if he didn't win, he was at least getting nominated. That's what I like walked out of that movie feeling. I was like, and it was still like earlier on in the year. I wasn't sure how like the lead actors were gonna pan out, but like I've never seen Robert Downey Jr. Give a performance the way that he gave a performance with this movie, and I really appreciated it. It really stuck with me throughout, like even after watching Oppenheimer. So that was definitely a lock for me personally, and to see him win, this is his first Oscar. Yeah, it's definitely um well worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, again, this is one of those moments where I ask myself, how come he's never gotten an Oscar until this moment? But I am very, yeah, his performance was really amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it was just so different to me, and he really played that character and nailed it well. And it's just, Yeah, I'm glad he got this. This is his first award that he's finally gotten. I'm glad he's earned it. Hopefully next time he's gonna get a leading role, but supporting is something. So
Support. I mean, it's an Oscar. Like
yeah, I know
that was the
Oscars and
role that he was
Oscar.
called to get.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
called for.
That's
So,
that he's called for. But I'm
and
hoping
it
maybe.
was a stacked category too. Like Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction did a great job. He was up against Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay.
And his performance in Killers of the Flower Moon was also really good.
Mm.
And then yeah, Mark Ruffalo and Ryan Gosling were also
Oh
contenders.
yeah, Ryan Gosling did a pretty good for Barbie.
Yeah,
So
yeah. A lot of people are giving him kudos for his role in Barbie, which is, I think, uh, which was really
mm,
good in my opinion.
yeah, he
Um,
carried the movie.
oh, for sure, which is, a different discussion.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah. So now best supporting actress. We have this one, I think, was most people pretty much agreed that this was going to be Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. And I
Mhm.
agree with most people. I think that after watching these movies, I think the only other people that might have taken it would have been uh, maybe Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. Honestly, yeah, I think like I'm looking at the other names for best supporting actress, and it's like, yeah, I feel like Divine Joy Randolph, after watching The Holdovers, like that was definitely the clear best performance from a supporting actress, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So this is tough, and this kind of goes with all these things that are nominated because even though I do think that Emily Blunt's role in Oppenheimer was sort of significant, I still feel like in the overall movie, she didn't really have much to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like she could only do so much, and
She
that's
had
just it's
a
like
Yeah, I agree with you. She had like a significant moment, maybe like one or two significant moments,
yeah,
but I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't think her performance definitely like stood out in the movie,
yeah,
but like Divine Joy Randolph's character in The Holdovers, just like the way that that character deals with grief in a way that is, it makes you, it's like an everyday kind of like you just gotta keep on with life type of thing, and the grief that you experience behind all of that is always there. But yeah, the way that she was able to to play that was really well done, in my opinion. And I'm glad that the holdovers got recognized at least in that category. I don't know if it got recognized in the others, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, best adapted screenplay, American Fiction won that one. I did see American Fiction. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good actually. I enjoyed it. I think that I think they did a great job with that story. I'm not sure the source material that's adapted from, but yeah, no, I appreciated that movie, so I'm glad that it got some recognition there.
that's
Yeah,
good. I haven't seen the movie to be honest, so
for sure, for
that's
sure. Yeah.
that's none of my forte. But if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. They did a good job. And then best original screenplay was Anatomy of a Fall. This one I didn't see. I was hoping to see it before the Oscars came out, but yeah, no, I didn't see Anatomy of a Fall,
Mm,
unfortunately. But
mm.
now we move into best animated feature film.
Oh,
And this
great.
one was won by The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki. Congratulations to Hayao Miyazaki. But we've got, some thoughts. What do you think about
Yes, we
it?
got some strong thoughts on how the boy and the heron,
Yeah.
which go get it twisted. We understand it's Miyazaki. He's the grandfather of a lot of animes. He's doing all this stuff,
Hmm.
but it lost to Across the Spider-Verse, and I'm just sorry, but Across the Spider-Verse is one of the most. It's probably one of the best movies we've seen in this lifetime. Like it's up there. Where it's just like this is not like this is just an art piece in general. There's just so much layers within
Hmm.
this movie. And to be fair, I will admit I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron, so there could be a little bias. But however, and I think I have a strong opinion on it. One, Crystal mentioned that it wasn't really nothing about it was much outstanding. Like it's your typical Miyazaki film. I mean, maybe there's a different, unique story, but it's not like it does anything to push the medium. Versus Across the Spider-Verse, where it did a lot to push the medium of storytelling. Like it literally, like there's
Yeah.
just so many layers within the movie.
Yes.
Like you could
Yeah.
literally, like there's so many shots that you actually have to like freeze frame to know that they're setting up for something else. Like that's how much layers are in this film. So like for a film to have all those layers, and it's just like it was just to be taken like that. Like it's just, I don't know. It's,
Yeah.
I feel like it's been robbed. It got robbed. Like let's be real.
I think that, like, yeah, I think I agree. Across the Spider-Verse did such a great job with creating, hold on one. Yeah, I agree. Across the Spider-Verse did such a great job with the way that they were able to innovate just the medium of animated film, like in a way that really no other film has ever
Exactly.
done. Like it's so crazy to like revisit that movie and like just look at how they just the choices that they decided to make with all of the animation, like animating like things in the same frame at different rates and stuff, like even like it's so crazy the way that they were able to do it. And I thought that, okay, here's my suspicion. I feel like because they know that this is going to be a trilogy, that they're holding off on giving it the award until the third movie comes out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well,
We'll see
I
what
don't
happens.
know. I feel it.
I feel like the
Maybe
I
we'll,
feel like the
we'll
Academy sometimes pulls stuff like that, where it's like, this was Hayao Miyazaki's last film, quote unquote. So they're like, okay, let's give him the Oscar for this one, since this is his last film. And then Across the Spider-Verse is getting another one because it's going to be a trilogy. So we'll save it to give to Across the Spider-Verse when that comes out.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I think it's totally BS. Just because, again, I feel like, again, I have not seen The Boy and the Hero, and I'm gonna try to watch it, but I don't feel like, see, Across the Spider-Verse, that's its own college crash course. You can make a college crash course about that movie alone. I just don't feel like The Boy and the Heroine is a college crash course. At most, that's like a chapter. Hey, chapter, Boy and the Heroine, chapter from the Miyazaki films, but
Yeah.
Across the Spider-Verse alone. So just, I mean, sure, I guess the argument, it's part of a movie, so we have to see the second part, and then you can make the argument, oh, that's two parts of the film. Could make its own story, but I don't know. It got robbed to me. I'm just like, that's literally like saying, hey, Kobe Bryant, or this, I don't know, some autistic kid who can barely get the shot hoop, and they're like, oh, let's give the autistic kid who can get the who can barely make it in the hoop because he's autistic, blah 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 blah, versus like Kobe Bryant, who's like made it all these shots and all these things and everything. That's how I felt with this with this comparison. It's just like, this is leagues. This is just this,
For
like,
sure.
that film is definition of a masterpiece.
I feel
Like
you. I
it
feel
just,
you.
it got robbed.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll move on to Best International Feature Film, which I saw The Zone of Interest, which was the
Hmm.
winner. Um, and I kind of mentioned this to you guys earlier, that I feel like I had a very different viewing experience than everybody else in the world when watching The Zone of Interest,
Mm,
where I just felt that it was, I felt that like Zone of Interest was just one note. Like
mm,
you basically, are experiencing this regular family living their everyday life, but like the Holocaust is happening in the background. And for the first 30 minutes of the movie, I was like, oh, this is crazy. But then
mm,
afterwards I'm like, okay, is there anything else is anything else gonna
mm.
happen? So that was just me. I understand that, like, pretty much everybody who watched this movie has talked about how fantastic and how wonderful it is. So I know I'm wrong, but
You're wrong.
I know I'm wrong, but so I'll leave it to the Academy as far as like declaring this as the winner for international feature film. So congratulations to the Zone of Interest for doing that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then we can do best cinematography, and that one. was taken by Oppenheimer, which I think makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think makes sense, especially, looking at some of the behind the scenes features for how they got some of the shots that they did. Like they had the actual explosion and all of that stuff. Like I would agree that like cinematography um was definitely uh well deserved by them.
Hmm.
Um yeah. And then we definitely want to talk about best visual effects.
Okay,
So
so
this
this
one, yeah, well, this one was taken by Godzilla minus one. But what do you have to think? What do you have to say about
this
it?
this is interesting because I love Godzilla minus one. This was one of the greatest films that came out of last year, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
However, big however,
I mean, yes, we both love Godzilla minus one. It's a fantastic
it's a
film. It was
fantastic
great.
film,
It's
one of the best movies.
probably it might be the best movie in this category because it's against like The Creator, Guardians 3, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, and then Napoleon. So you might make the argument that it's the best movie in that category, but like, yeah, go ahead. We're talking about
Yeah, however, when it
visual
comes to visual
effects.
effects,
Yeah.
the visual effects in Godzilla minus one is probably the one of the weakest things in this film.
Yeah.
And if we were gonna compare it to like Guardians of the Galaxy, which
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna like, there's moments of Guardians of the Galaxy where it looks ridiculous, but you could say it's intentionally ridiculous. All I'm
Yeah.
saying is if you look at like what's his name, Rocket the Raccoon's friends, and you look at Godzilla, you can't tell me that the visual effects of Rocket the Raccoon's friends is worse than the Godzilla I saw in that film. Like there was literally moments in the when the Godzilla's going chasing down the people in the thing where there's like explosions and it looks like something you put on like a 3D model or something like that. Like the visual effects, granted, like I get it, it's a low budget film, but it's not anything groundbreaking. So for it to win best visual effects, like I don't know. This is one of those moments where the Academy was just being biased, where it's like, we love Godzilla minus one, but we have to give it a reason to win. It doesn't win in these categories, but how about we give it visual effects? Like, I feel like they were just biased about that because it's like, compared to all the other Godzilla films we've gotten, those visual effects, even the 2014 has better visual effects than
Yeah.
this movie. And I don't think any of those ones were nominated or even won if they were nominated. So for this to win is just, I don't know. It's just, I'm not buying it.
No, I would agree with you. I definitely think that Godzilla minus one is a great movie in spite of its poor visual effects. I would say that like they did a great job using all the tools that they had at their disposal. But if we're talking about what movie had better visual effects, I don't think you can realistically say because like imagine if Godzilla minus one, like the story was bad. If the story was bad, like, are we talking about it being best visual effect? Like, I mean,
Exactly.
like I think that, The Creator, while it was not like a great film, the
Mm-hmm.
visual effects in The Creator are probably the best parts of the movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, I would say that, the visual effects for The Creator probably should have won over Godzilla minus one.
Yeah.
And then even, Guardians 3,
Yeah.
the stuff in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, also
Exactly.
like the fact that you have um movies where the visual effects are so seamless that you can't even really tell where its
Exactly.
visual effects are and where it's like practical. It's like that's the type of stuff that we're talking about. But I don't know. They decided to give it to Godzilla minus one, so I'm not gonna necessarily, cry too much about it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just again when justice is not being served, I have to call it out. And again, I love Godzilla minus one. This isn't a hate on it. It's just I don't think it deserved it. You know?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But yeah, I think that's going to conclude our discussion for the Oscars. You can definitely look into the other categories if you're interested. But if you
Mhm.
have any thoughts or discussion about any of the things that we mentioned here today, definitely let us know in the comment section down below.
Exactly.
We will catch you later.
Peace.
Peace.